it should actually look like this. Does everybody see this when you look at it? Okay, so right now, standard form. What automatically tells me something's standard form? All the letters? Perfect. X and Y are on the same side of my equal sign. Are we okay with that? Okay, so now I will tell you there's two ways to graph standard form. One of them is to get it to y equals mx plus b format, and the other is to use the x and y intercepts. Okay, so let's do let's do the y equals mx plus b format because y'all are really good at that. And in order to get it to y equals mx plus b, we're going to what, and what? Space, move, divide. So space is 1. That means move space out my constant. 2 is move. So that means I'm moving my what? And 3 is divide. So I'm dropping and dividing by y. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's see if we can do this with all these letters. Okay, we're going to go through the same steps here. So draw a line from your equal sign. What would be my constant? What is standing by itself with no variables? So I'm going to space out the C. What type of C is that? Positive. So I've spaced it out. Now what am I going to move?
Minus A.
Yes, minus AX because I'm moving my X's. And then I'm going to drop down the what? BY, and I'm going to divide by what letter? B. So that's going to leave me with y equals negative A over B. Bring your X to the side. Does everybody see what I did there? And then positive C over what? B. Something should look familiar up there. What's your slope in this problem? What was your slope shortcut for standard form? Opposite A over B. So this is where it comes from. Okay? So yes, it was a shortcut, but now there's logic to why it's our shortcut. We take the opposite of our A, we divide it by our B. Okay? So now, there's other ways to find or be able to graph standard form. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. If we get to it today, great. If we don't, we don't. Sound good? So let's go to the inside of our examples. So far we've been solving just equations, right? We've gotten them to y equals mx plus b format by space move dividing. Well, now we're throwing a graph on there, which just means I have to be able to find the slope and the y-intercept in order to graph it. Okay? So number 1, is it standard form? Yes, so what can I do? 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to space out the what? Perfect. I'm then going to move what? Minus 3x, good. And I'm going to drop and divide by what number? 6. Please don't forget to not break my heart. Okay? So in your calculator, do me a favor, because I know that these look really easy, but we forget to simplify sometimes. Negative 3 divided by 6. Good. It's going to be y equals negative 1 over 2 x. What's 18 divided by 6? I heard you said plus 3. So what is your slope? Good. And that's rise over run, so that's kind of the format we need. And what's my y-intercept? 3. If it's called a y-intercept, that means it's on what axis? The y-axis. So let's go put a dot at 3. Talk to me about slope. What do I do?
Down 1 over 2.
Which way?
Right.
Good. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. How many dots do you have to put? At least 3. Coach Williams is crazy, right? She puts a lot. What's the opposite of down 1? And what's the opposite of right? 2. So don't be afraid to go the opposite way as well. Okay? When you connect these dots, what type of line should you have? A negative line. It should be solid because it says equal. And what do you have to end in? Arrows. Pretty easy? Okay? Let's look at number 2. It's down on the page. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so maybe we can still see the graph. Okay, what format is this equation in? How'd you know? Letters. X and Y are on the same side. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to race you. Ready? Set. Go. I'm racing you. Dang it. Good job. Yep. I know, because I'm a cheater. You're right.
I didn't beat you.
I know, I'm so good job, guys.
Proud of myself. I'm the slowest.
No, you're not. You're brilliant. Nearly. Okie doke. So what did I space out? 0. What did I move over? Okay, why did I put a plus 2x? Because it was negative, okay? And then I divided by a 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 0 divided by anything is 0. My slope was 1 over 1. That's just so I could see a rise over a run. Does everybody understand that? And then my y-intercept was what? So what type of line is this?
Direct variation.
Positive direct variation. It goes through that origin. Sound good? Okay, let's go look what changes up the game plan on 3. Inequalities. It's okay though, right? Yeah. We're just going to do the same stuff. We've just got to check dash and above or below. Dash solid, above, below.
Check the sign because if you divide by negative.
You got to remember your golden rule, okay?
My mom taught me that.
Yes, yes. So when you divide by a negative, you have to remember your woo, woo, woo. Remember that? Okay. Talon just made my day. Okay, so still slope, it's still in standard form, right? We've got x and y on the same side. Ooh. We got it? So we're still going to draw a line from our inequality sign, and we're still going to say 1, 2, 3. The only thing is, by 3, I'd really like for y'all to put a star, just so you remember to check if you divided by a negative. Okay? So, number 1, what do? Space out that 56. It's a positive, so I'm going to put plus. And then I always move my x's, right? So how do I move a positive 21x? Good job. And then at the end, I'm going to drop a negative 7y and divide by woo! Okay? We divided by a negative. So, what do we have to remember? Flip this sign. So go back to your original problem. We've got y is not less than. What does it become? Greater than. And then don't break the heart. Negative divided by negative is going to turn. So how many x's do I have? 3 x's. And then a positive divided by negative is going to stay what? Negative. And what is that going to be? Perfect. So again, we can still identify our slope and our y-intercept, right? What's my slope here? Good. 3 over 1. So we have a rise over run. What's my y-intercept? Okay. Now we do have to remember, this says greater. Above. And it is dashed because it does not say equal. Is everybody okay with this? So let's go graph it. I'm going to start at -8 way down here. And my rise is going to be up 3, right 1. 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 Okay. Again, how many did you have to put? Just 3. Now, we're still going to end in arrows. Don't forget that. Just make sure your graph is what? Dashed. Don't forget to put a dashed line. Are we okay with that? Now, remember we go to our y-intercept. So I'm going to go down to -8. And I'm going to draw a highlighter or an arrow to go above for greater. And that tells me exactly where to shade. Right? Could you name me some points that would work on this inequality?
4 and
negative?
Negative 4 and 4.
Ah, -4 and 4. Perfect. 2, you said what? -2, 4. Anything that ends in that shade would be a possible answer. Are we okay with that? Okay, last one. We're going to panic, right? Because it has fractions?
Yeah.
Okay, and inequalities. Goodness. Okay, is this standard form? Yes, how'd you know?
The variable and the letters.
Yes, all those letters and X and Y are on the same side. Okay, I'm still going to draw a line from my inequality sign. What's my first step? Space out -3. Let's finish this and then you can, okay? Space out -3. How do I get rid of a -4x? Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the. Okay? And then I'm going to drop down and divide by what? -1/2. I'm going to keep that number the same. You're not going to change it. Okay? Now, there's 2 ways to type a fraction into your calculator. You either keep it inside what? Parentheses, or you can say alpha y equals enter. Understand? Okay, so now you've got y. Whoa, nobody stopped me. Yes, I did divide by a negative. Good job. So I have to make sure I flip that sign. Yes. Woo, woo, woo. So this is greater than or equal to, and what does it change to be?
Less than or equal to.
Good. Now what is 4 divided by -1/2? What type of 8? Shouldn't it be negative?
No. Oh, yes.
Positive divided by negative stays what? Negative. Okay. Now what does a negative divided by negative give me? And what's -3 divided by -1/2? +6. Can we identify my slope? What is it? Okay. And what is my y-intercept? Good. So talk to me about this line. It is a negative line, so it should be going down. But there's a few other things about it.
Oh, it's solid.
It is solid because it says equal.
And it's down.
It's below, right? We're going to shade below because it says less. Sound good? Okay, so we're going to go to 6, put a dot. Now for rise over run, we're going to go down 8, right 1, down 8, right 1. There's only 3 dots you can put on this line, so make sure you have all 3. Again, what type of line is it? Solid, so put a solid line through all these points. Now make sure when you're shading less, you go to your y-intercept, you draw an arrow down from it. And do you see what side this should be on?
Yes.
What side?
Left side.
The left side. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Now, for the remainder of the period, listen. You get to work on your homework. There's 8 questions. It's all about space moved